It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while and just smile. Just taking some clean, fresh
Why,
air.
hello there, everyone, and welcome back to another Krebs Coho replay cast. This time around, we're going to be doing a 1v1 on Beaux Lowlands. Right, so we're going to be looking today at a speed 1492, playing as the Wehrmacht, and his opponent is Maiden 2 as the Americans. Well, guys, if you know where that hello voice came from, it is from Seinfeld. All you Seinfeld fans obviously know that. And for the people that don't know anything about Seinfeld, Seinfeld is a show that came out in the 90s. Probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular, funny comedic show ever. Actually, I would say it's one of the highest rated shows ever. Seinfeld, episode 2 of season 9, The Voice. And then you'll find out where that whole thing about hello, la 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 la, came from. So obviously hip culture, why not, why not? So what are we going to be looking at today, guys? I've got a lot of exciting news to tell you. Let's just get on with what's happening in this game. Got this off of Game Replays, and it's gonna be quite a twisty sort of thing. Not really what you'd expect. However, it's gonna be pretty damn cool. What I would recommend for all of you guys is completely avoid the bottom right hand corner with the time bar on it. What I might actually do is put a sort of YouTube bar over it, but otherwise just don't pay attention to it because it might spoil it slightly. What are we seeing so far of these builds? Wehrmacht Pioneers going to the left and right, Jeep heading out to obviously harass those Pioneers, prevent them from doing anything. Good stuff, right? Switching off to a tactical map, Beaux Lowlands is in my opinion, one of my least favorite maps. Not because it's a bad map, but just because it's so goddamn stressful. Anytime you capture one side of the map, the other person grabs the other side, and as soon as you try to go grab the other side, they start grabbing the side that you have, and so it just switches constantly back and forth, and it's so hard to maintain points. And I imagine it's even more harder now that there's these hills leading up to the center of the map. That's just going to make it so much more difficult. Right, while the action is still calm, and there's not that much going on, I'm going to tell you guys a little exciting piece of news. So you guys have obviously been hearing the last few episodes that I was going to have resets, and I was very, very nervous. It's a do or die situation. Basically, if I fail, then I would be held back for a year, and honestly, with a year, I don't know what I do with my time. I guess I become big on YouTube, get lots of subscribers, I don't even know, to be honest. And I'd work and go to the gym. That would be my life for a year. And that I was really, really not looking forward to that. The other option is obviously pass, continue on with third year of pharmacy, and work towards becoming a registered pharmacist, right? And, well, you guys can predict it by now, but the great news is that I've passed all the resets, and I'm going to be moving on to third year. Woohoo! We need a little kazoo going. I'm really, really happy that I've managed to pass, and oddly enough, it's quite a strange thing. One of my best friends, this is the other side, the flip side of the coin. One of my best friends, the one that I was always hanging out with in uni, is actually not passed, and so that puts me in quite an awkward position of, well, okay, I go on to third year, but it looks like I'm gonna be sitting by myself and pretty much by myself entire third year. And you know what? Obviously that's the con of it, but then again, the plus side, the pro, maybe this will be an opportunity for me to get my head down in my books, just concentrate on uni, the studying, the more important thing of actually why I'm there in the first place. So that's the two flip sides of the coins. I hope you know, everything will be alright in this coming year. It's very unfortunate that my friend couldn't get by. Just, I don't even know what to say to him. You can't really say sorry, can you? Just gotta see what happens, right? Anyway, so that's the news out of the way. Really happy. So that gives me at least one more month off to do whatever with this, the rest of my summer vacation. until uni starts again. So in that time, I'm going to be doing lots of co-replays. I'll try to do them every other day if I can. If otherwise not, I will be doing them every now and then. Should be every other day, if not every maybe 2 days or so, 3 days maybe. But anyway, let's see what's happening on the field. MGs, Volks, let's see what they have. Speed has 3 Volks Grenadier squads, 2 Pioneers, also an MG42, and his main force is pretty much over here in force together. Well, kind of an awkward thing to be doing that. Why would you keep your force all grouped up together on especially a map like this, Beaux Lowlands? You gotta be really careful. I don't like what's happening here, how these Pioneers are under fire whilst putting down this mine. Yeah, that was pretty much what I was expecting. Either he was not recognizing that, he actually cancelled the mine there. Either he didn't recognize his guys were getting killed, or he thought that he could be quick enough and actually build them. Obviously, you guys should know that when you're building something, you're going to take that extra damage. That extra damage is going to put you off and kill your guys even easier. I don't actually think it's extra damage. I think you just take an increased amount of accuracy. So yeah, so those guys died very, very quickly. These guys actually landed on the mine that was right over here on those behind the stone wall. And so the Wehrmacht are down a Pioneer squad, whilst the Americans are pretty much up a kill, if that makes sense. They managed to spot a mine before it was actually put down and all that great stuff. So just a word of advice for all you newbies, the beginners, intermediates out there. If you're under fire with a mine, don't build it. Especially, also another tip is whenever somebody spots you building a mine, just might as well cancel it, because then they know where your mine is. Kind of pointless, guys. Don't put it there. So we've got a bunch of flanking squads going around the MG42, gonna be trying to take it out. The guys are falling down one by one, obviously, and instead of retreating, they're actually gonna be moving on forward. Very bad maneuver in my opinion. I don't agree with that whatsoever. If I was in a position like that, rather than trying to run away, I would actually retreat him instantly. It's just, even if you start running away, given the fact that the riflemen are so good at close range, you probably will take quite a bit of damage by running away. Much more makes more sense than just running, retreating away. So again, the same situation. These squads, rather than retreating instantly, are gonna be waiting around, taking a few casualties. That was, again, in my opinion, quite a pointless thing to do. Whenever you know you're not gonna win a situation, just retreat, guys. I mean, it's easy as that. I'm sort of starting to consider this. I didn't really see this in my first initial viewing of this game, but maybe this would be considered like a newbie Tuesday sort of game. But then again, you know, lots of twists, lots of stuff to look forward to. I think you guys will enjoy what's going to be coming up, right? So, some skirmishes going on here. Let's see what's going on in terms of advancement. Supply yard down. Obviously, that means that we're going to probably be seeing some sort of other building sometime soon. And yes, that motor pole is just about to be built. So, the Volksgrenadiers, very awkward position over here. Riflemen, no idea what they're doing. Oh, it looks like they're probably grouping up together with those engineers. And so they're moving in. There we go. Thank God those Volksgrenadiers are running away. That wasn't going to be brilliant whatsoever. And so the Wehrmacht are totally pushed off the left-hand side. In the center, we have another Pioneer who is just wondrously, aimlessly being shot at. So very lucky to actually be getting out of there. Look at that. That is a fraction of the health. I believe I can see a tiny meager line on the left of what's left of his health. MG42, Volks moving in, seeing what the Wehrmacht have. They have a Kampfkraft Center, and just that Wehrmacht quarters. I'm not exactly sure what tier they're on. I haven't been paying attention to the Wii notifications on the left-hand side, but maybe you guys have been. I imagine they're probably at least a T2 by now. We've also got the Volksgrenadiers with Veteran C1 on them. Good, good, good. So he's obviously going to be going probably on a more heavy infantry-dependent strategy. Just because he has that veterancy on his infantry, right? Only makes sense that you do that. So this squad being absolutely mauled, nothing much to say else about that. And so these guys are taking this side. This is what I mean. Do you guys see what I'm saying about this map? Do you see what I mean? How you fight on one side, you manage to push them off, you start getting pushed on the other side. do you guys understand where I'm coming from? I mean, it only makes sense now when you actually see it happening. Only other time is actually when you play the game or this map. So the Americans pushing on this side, the Vermont pushing on this side. No doubt it's probably going to change back and forth. I think the only thing that you can do in trying actually to solidify this position is possibly by building like an MG bunker over here and trying to at least cover the entry points. Likewise, maybe just having a single MG42 behind some sandbags. At least just holding them off. I think that wouldn't be a bad idea, to be honest. I mean, having an MG42 or with supported by a pack or grenadiers or something like that, take on the armored stuff, take on the whatever else, and so then you can solidify control. Thinking about this in my own position again. Say, for example, if you were going to set it up on Beaux Lowlands, I'm just considering some tactical options in my head right now, but say if you really wanted to solidify the control of one side and then move on to the other, what you could do, for example, is go for a defensive doctrine, build a bunker, get an MG42 in that bunker so it gets some cover, and have a supporting grenadier squad with Panzerschrecks on it. That way you'll have anti-tank, anti-infantry, and you'll also have the defensive doctrine enabled, which will allow you to obviously reinforce near the bunker beside it. If you're very, very desperate, you can always throw on for the fatherland. That gives you a good chance of actually repelling whatever attacks come forward. Obviously that is a meager force and would only be enough to handle a small army, but at least it could stunt their progression. M8 in the base of the Wehrmacht, not looking good. 2 guys left in this Volksgrenadier squad. This is not looking good. Maybe we need some Panzerfaust to chase it away, but what the heck are they gonna do? No idea. There's another M8 over here, and it looks like a Jeep is just crawling about. So what are these guys going to do? I'm not exactly sure. They're actually going to be going outside of the building and going to be replenishing themselves. Panzerfaust, maybe? Well, it doesn't look like it. I'm just looking at the ammunition now, and that is only 11 ammunition. They're not even close to a 40. Hey, Panzerfaust. What they do have, and I didn't notice this, was a Stormtrooper squad. Hello, Blitzkrieg Doctrine. There we go. It's also selected as well. That is why the Stormtroopers are there. Oh god, Bernard really should know this stuff. So Stormtrooper is finally getting in the base, gonna be camoing, but the M8 obviously knows that, hey, the Stormtrooper's coming here, so no chance. Also saw a curved M8 shell just go flying into the sky, obviously defying the laws of physics. Just didn't want to hit those guys, instead it went right up into the heavens, probably at Jupiter by now. We've also got some engineers going down, not good. So the Wehrmacht pushing on this side. Loads and loads of capping for the Americans. They are just capping right across the map. Look at all these flashing zones from the Americans just capping. Not looking good. It seems like everyone is just capping, really, rather than fighting. The Wehrmacht are trying to recover the points over here, prevent the Americans from actually doing anything. So good with the MP40s. Gonna be closing in. There we go. And what the heck? Not retreating? I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I thought this would be a little bit different. I guess this is probably like an intermediate game. Like, you know, they have the general basis of what they're doing and stuff like that, but they lack some of the micro skills. Now, obviously that's the difference between intermediates and advanced players. Advanced players will obviously know a few tricks in the bags of what to do, advanced sort of tactics, and they'll also have spectacular micro, which we don't have the most absolute perfect micro at the moment here. This Volksgrenadier squad is obviously trying to maybe scare away the M8 by like just keeping near it, maybe trying to taunt with a possible Panzerfaust, but obviously the M8 wasn't having any of that. He was just saying, ah, no, you probably got no ammunition, so fair enough. And that's another way that you can predict if your player has a lot of ammunition or not. First off, look at these Volksgrenadiers. They've got tons of MP40s. In fact, 2 squads of MP40s. That's 50 ammunition each of them. Plus there's also 2 Panzerschrecks in this one Stormtrooper squad. That means that at least 150 has been spent on these Stormtroopers. So all in all, that is 250 ammunition? Yep, that's 250 ammunition spent on the all these weapon upgrades. Now, MP40s obviously help a lot. Would I actually recommend going for MP40s? Yes, I would. However, in certain cases, I wouldn't advise getting multiple squads of MP40s. In certain cases, such as when they've got M8s coming out and stuff, I'd probably be a little bit reluctant of getting those MP40s out on all squads, on a lot of them anyway. I think one MP40 squad when M8s are out is fine enough. Just have it there on the side, so whenever you're suppressing some of those infantry, you can go in and close in on them. I think MP40s are brilliant whenever there's bars out on the field. They really even the playing field, especially when you've got veterans and Volksgrenadiers as well. And Volksgrenadiers with MP40s can pretty much take on bars on riflemen. That is, if they don't have veterancy anyway. Major damage on this MA armored car, taking massive damage on it, just managing to get away from there. If I was the Wehrmacht, perhaps one last Panzerfaust to finish it off would have been a good idea, maybe? These squads, looking like they must have taken a bit of casualties. They actually landed on that MA mine there, and so big casualties there. Wehrmacht going along the right hand side, looking at the tactical map, huge sector advantage for the Americans. Where have the Wehrmacht been going wrong? Well, they've been going wrong because they just keep on getting chased away by these M8s. The M8s just constantly putting a hassle on them. What the Wehrmacht really need to do is have some solid sort of AT on the field. What they might think, try to possibly think about, is having stormtrooper squads, not two Panzerschrecks on a single stormtrooper squad, have multiple stormtroopers. I mean, look at this, he's got 780 manpower. If he had more sectors, he could afford that if his population cap was a bit higher. I don't recommend having two Panzerschrecks on one stormtrooper squad early on. I think it's usually better to go for, say, two separate stormtrooper squads, two separate grenadier squads, just so that they stay alive longer. Makes more sense then. And also you can have those guys wandering about the map in more different places, right? This squad, this MA taking huge damage again, and this one gonna be closing in to maybe put some pressure on those stormtroopers. As soon as one is killed, which it just has been, then the pressure is on because they need to start thinking about, hey, maybe we need to get away from this. This is looking a little bit dangerous. And so this M8 taking massive damage, in fact so massive that it was destroyed, going up a huge bowl of flames. These squads being suppressed, and so they're gonna have to retreat. There we go. And they're being closed on as well, so it seems like some sort of vehicle blocking, well, more like infantry blocking, preventing those riflemen from actually retreating properly there. We've also got a Stug coming out on the field from the Wehrmacht. So basically, if you're gonna be, what the Wehrmacht should probably be doing, in my opinion, since I'm I wouldn't call myself an absolute Axis fanboy, but they are my favorite faction to play, the Wehrmacht. What I would personally do, have separate stormtrooper squads, also put down mines on typical choke point-ish places. That way when M8s come your way, you can either lure them into the mine, or they could crash into it, get a damaged engine or something, and then you can finish it off easily, no problem. Also, what you want to do is be a bit careful with your stormtroopers. Camouflage them, make sure that the M8s come to you and then fire. Make sure they're within range and very close so that you don't miss. Then you can really take out these MA armored cars, because whenever they get away, they can get repaired, and in that time they could have actually taken out a few of your guys. That means you've actually lost the battle, even though you haven't lost the squad. So the Stug putting on the pressure on the Wehrmacht, it looks like. I mean, the M8s can't obviously even touch this thing. The riflemen can't touch it either. But it looks like we have something that can touch it. Not in a perverted way, but obviously with their bazookas, it's the Rangers. So welcome the Rangers on the field. The Rangers with the bazookas will be enough to penetrate the armor. Maybe not so much, luckily, on the front side of the Stug, but on the side and the rear armor. Hey, no problem, go for it. The Wehrmacht trying to push away on the left-hand side as well, and it seems like the controls are going back into the Axis' hands. So good to be seeing that. At least the Axis are making some sort of comeback from being pretty much stuck in their base. That wasn't looking good at the time there. Stormtrooper squad closing in, and this is what I mean. If you're going to be using Stormtrooper squads, use some sort of camouflage, just so that the MA doesn't expect where you are. This makes it very, very awkward here. The MA is chasing the Volksgrenadiers right into the base, and where is the anti-tank? God knows. The Stug can obviously damage that M8, but come on, look at that. Look how inaccurate. Obviously, there's going to be a big delay between actually shooting that shell and before it hits the ground. So, you know, Stug's okay, can counter them, but not a perfect counter, right? The M8 is really doing a massive amount of pressure on the Wehrmacht. Come on! Losing an MG42 like that, really not looking good. This M8 is definitely going to be going down here. The Stug managing to probably damage it quite a bit, and the Stormtroopers as well, and that is finally one M8 going down. For God's sake, it takes so long. That took long enough, don't you think, guys? Quite a bit of the riflemen closing in over here. And so this seems like a bit of a reversal. The tides are changing slightly, but still, not too sure, really. There's a bunch of squads here, but the Americans gotta start considering, what would he do in this position? Gotta really start considering, hey, there's Stu's on the field. How am I going to counter this? Maybe bazookas might not be enough, considering that Stu's are meant to be an anti-building, anti-infantry sort of counter. You gotta start thinking, maybe I should get something more proper anti-tank, such as vehicles or AT guns. Bazookas are fine, in my opinion, against like armored cars and half-tracks and Panthers, for example. Anything that's not great at killing infantry. But they're not absolutely perfect whenever it comes to anti-infantry tanks, just because, you know, anti-infantry tanks obviously going to be doing a great job at taking on infantry. So that looks like that might be the third Stu. Yes, it's the third Stu out on the field. So the pressure is just constantly being put on, and now the Americans really got to start thinking about it. I mean, they cannot just keep on going with these Rangers and Riflemen and M8s. They really need to push on to something else. What are they going to do? I have absolutely no clue whatsoever. The Stu's moving on around to the right-hand side. The Stormtrooper squad just managing to get away from there, but Maiden 2 taking quite a bit of damage. Surprisingly, you wouldn't imagine these shells to do a lot of damage to an M8, but hey, you saw that big chunk of health being taken out from a sort of missing shell there. So they do a decent amount of damage against those M8s. As I said before, not a perfect counter, but they are a counter. So the Americans, come on, what are you guys going to do? Well, they're going to be putting down a tank depot. That is more what I'm looking forward to. Switching on over to Maiden 2, see what he's doing. He's obviously got that infantry doctrine selected. That's going to allow him for some interesting choices. For example, he's got Rangers. He could always be thinking about howitzers later on. He could also be thinking about off-map combat groups. That's all going to help, right? The reinforcements. And so this tank depot, 51 fuel on for the Americans. So that tank depot is just down. Now they can start thinking about getting some sort of anti-tank. And there we go. That's the Hellcat going to be being produced. And that is what we're looking for. That can actually counter the Stu's. And the Stu's are going to have a hard time of countering that. I believe the Stu's could actually take a decent amount of damage on the Hellcat as well. But still, obviously, as I keep on stressing, not a perfect counter. The barracks, massive damage. Oh my god, was that just one volley from all three of these Stu's? Oh my god, huge damage, massive damage. Look at that. Wow, one shell just taking a third of the health. And yet again, it looks like this tank depot cannot produce the Hellcat in time. Oh yes, just managing to, and literally like a split second there, just barely managing to actually produce that Hellcat. However, the Hellcat is quite under some pressure now. 4 Stu's on its tail. If it's actually going to do anything, this Hellcat needs to constantly keep moving. It can't just stay there. Come on. Move, Hellcat. I don't know what he's doing. He can do a great amount of damage against the Stu's, but if he's going to be staying there and just dying like that, then he's just going to be going down. So this is what I call a base rape session. The rape is in progress. I'm going to be taking huge chunks of damage. Look at these Stu's, they're so formidable against bases. If you're ever going to be using Stu's, hey, if you got 2 of them on the field, for example, or more, maybe you want to think about maybe not only just pushing on their infantry and stuff on the field, why not just go for a sneaky base rush and just devastate their base? Totally valid strategy, and as you guys can see, look, it's working like absolute crazy. The bases are going down one by one, the buildings, supply supply yard is just about to go down. The motor pool is going to be going down. The machine gun emplacement, the barracks, everything is so badly damaged. Whilst what else is happening? We have 423 points left for the Americans, 194 for the Wehrmacht, and that looks like just about every base sector going to be going down. What is the American going to be doing? This looks like sort of like another game we watched before in the past. They're going to be building an MG nest in order to survive this. That was the last base building going down there. So the Wehrmacht might be thinking, hey, why have I not won this yet? Well, there has to be another building on the field. Now you guys got to go find it. The Wehrmacht need to go find it. So that machine gun placement is the only thing that's keeping the Americans in this actual game at the moment. So the Americans, although they've technically lost their base, they've technically lost the game, well, technically they're still in the game because they have this MG nest emplacement. So what else are the Americans going to do? I'm not exactly sure. They've got a guy in this building. Maybe they're going to be building forward HQ or something. Yeah, it looks like they're going to be doing that. So there we go. Forward HQ going to be speedily built. And so it's going. Whilst all of that is happening, the Wehrmacht are capping away at the field. And so let's see what the Americans still have left. Surprisingly and luckily, they still have quite a bit. They have multiple riflemen, they've got engineers, they've got rangers, a jeep, and a M8. And so this is going to be quite a pesky thing. Look at that. That's just taking harassing these guys bit by bit. And oh god, these stews are here. This is the awkward position to be in. Switching on over to speed 1492. He's got quite a bit of units. However, well, that M8 just going down. He's got quite a bit of units, but look at that. He's got 4 stews and only in total 2 stormtrooper squads, 1 Volksgrenadier, and 2 pioneers. He's sort of lacking a little bit in the infantry category, and those infantry are going to be what is needed in order to cap, correct? So that what he's going to need to do is actually chase away the Americans. The Americans are over here going to be trying to rebuild their base. However, there's a stew right here. Deadly thing. Luckily, this stew is actually damaged. Its engine is damaged, and so it's going to be quite an iffy thing to take on. Obviously, it can fire and still kill guys, but it's going to be so slow to traverse, turning its angle around. And so these riflemen, they have stickies, might have a very good opportunity to actually throw a sticky. It looks like that's going to happen. The sticky is just being thrown on. Not only are these stickies going to be great at actually taking out the stews like what just happened there, but also earning veterancy. So now we have veterancy 2 on that rifleman squad. Well done. So the Wehrmacht or the Americans are hanging on by this 1 MG here and the forward HQ. So it's sort of like a temporary base. It seems like the base has been relocated over here. Whilst the Wehrmacht, do they have actually any clue where the Americans are at the moment? I don't actually think they do, to be honest. That stew is finally gone, so the Americans can start thinking about actually rebuilding this base over here. So they're getting all their engineers, every single one available, to actually start repairing that as well. The riflemen just going to be defending, I imagine. And so the Wehrmacht, with their 3 stews left, are going to have to start thinking, oh no, that stew has been gone for quite a bit now. Maybe they're going to be rebuilding their base. Maybe we got to start getting our guys back over there and preventing that from happening. Veterancy 2 American squad going down. The rifleman squad, not good, not good. I don't like that. However, we've got a heroic charge by the Rangers, going to be trying to, I don't even know, were they trying to get around the side of the stew? Well, it looks like maybe that was our original plan, but they're sort of backing out of that at the moment. Maybe they didn't like it so much. These guys really got to be careful because it looks like the shell from the stew is actually fast enough to actually hit these exhausted Rangers. These guys, come on, can they get out of there? It looks like they're just about to be able to. Yep, good job. These stews are going to be moving in over here. So, not looking good for the Wehrmacht because they are losing quite a bit of sectors. They are managing to capture away a bit again. However, their one stew that was over here was destroyed, and the Americans are pretty damn close to bringing that forward HQ back on the field. And no, we've got a stew that is going to be back here in the base sector, going to be harassing, and another stew over here, and a bunch of Oath Grenadiers and Stormtroopers. No! All the engineers go flying in death. The forward HQ is so close. Speed 144.92 saying good game. One rifleman squad going down. The ranger squad, he has no chance. In fact, he's going to be throwing a grenade and possibly killing one single guy. Not good. We've got some paradropped engineers coming in onto the field. Oh no, 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 this isn't looking good. The Wehrmacht obviously know where the new base is. However, switching on over to Mr. Maiden. What else does he have left? He has literally nothing, guys. Look at this. He's a jeep and a rifleman squad. Oh my god. Oh jeez, that's really not looking good whatsoever. The Americans are only managing to hold in over here with their machine gun emplacement and their forward HQ. Luckily, that forward HQ is there so they can actually build riflemen from it. Imagine if all they had was an MG emplacement and a jeep. They couldn't even put down a forward HQ. That'd be horrendous to be in. So paradropped engineers going to be coming in. It looks like there's going to be one stew over here. I'm guessing the stew, maybe he was thinking, hey, I've got a stew here, this will be enough to cover it. However, this stew is immobilized. It cannot even move. The paradropped engineer is going to be coming in. Luckily, this is still has some health and it can be repaired. Maybe what I would have considered if I was the Wehrmacht is actually damaging this before actually leaving. Now, I'm not entirely sure. I've never came across this sort of situation before. But I'm not exactly sure if it's different for forward HQs, for example. But it looks like it's getting rebuilt and it has some sort of health on it, as you guys can see by the bar. So I'm thinking maybe the Wehrmacht could have actually damaged it all the way back to 0 before they left, just to prevent it from getting actually rebuilt. Maybe they didn't recognize that or even think about it, but I think that would have been a brilliant idea, so they could at least delay it if there was going to be any other paradropped engineers. Because look at this, the forward HQ is just about to come back up. The stew is going to be coming back here, but these stews really need to be repaired. Come on, he's just needlessly losing his guys. Look at that, one stew going down, and that is veterancy 3 achieved on one of these rifleman squads. Mine down over here by Maiden, and the stew obviously finally sees that, oh my god, there is a forward HQ on the field. This is not good. Now the abilities are unlocked for the Americans yet again. And so what do we have? We have bazookas, we have off-map combat group, and we have a howitzer shoot. Okay, seeing what speed 14942 has, he's going to be still harassing over here. Oh, these riflemen doing a great job at defending their fatherland, their home. The riflemen are just trying to kill the rest of these guys. Luckily, they're getting away. Veterancy 2 on this rifleman squad. This place still isn't even destroyed. An MG gun emplacement isn't destroyed, and that house isn't destroyed. I have no clue what's going on here. I mean, shouldn't it be gone by now? I mean, they had plenty of time before that forward HQ was rebuilt for the stews to get in there and actually clear it all out. No idea what's going on. No idea whatsoever. Assault grenades coming down. Gonna be stunning these guys, and this Volks Grenadier squad running away, and no, it is shot in the back on retreat, and that is a Volks Grenadier squad gone. Still, there are loads of guys available, units available to the Wehrmacht. However, a lot of them are badly damaged, and a lot of them are very low on squad members. This stew is immobilized, and its engine is destroyed, so it can't even move at all whatsoever. One more stick could easily finish it off. Now we've got some flamethrowers coming in here in desperation to try and clear it off, but I mean, come on, it's really not going to do that much. Stew over here at last going to be trying to finish it off, and instead finishing off one of the engineer squads. Fair enough. The Wehrmacht are moving back out. 137 points left for the Americans, for the Wehrmacht, sorry, 334 for the Americans. Maybe the Americans are thinking, hey, let's capture some points and let's win this by VPs, possibly. This Jeep has been alive for ages, what seems like. I mean, it really has been on the field for a long time. 780 manpower for the Americans. This could mean a off-map combat group is going to be coming out on the field. That would be such a great opportunity. 2 Hellcats! and the rifleman squad, and the mortar coming out on the field. Wow. Wow. If you guys know anything about off-map combat group, it is honestly just a roll of dice. It just comes down to luck. Sometimes you'll get like an M8 and a bunch of squads out of it. Sometimes you'll just get a bunch of squads. Sometimes you'll be lucky and get a Hellcat. He was so lucky, in fact, that he actually got 2 Hellcats. I mean, one would have been stupendous, but he was so freaking lucky. He actually got 2 Hellcats, a mortar, and a rifleman squad. Who cares about the mortar and the rifleman squad? The 2 Hellcats are going to make the superb difference in this game. I mean, what he really needed was armor to actually finish off the Wehrmacht. Sticky's obviously doing a great job so far, but this armor is just really going to just change everything now. That Stug was taken out. The Wehrmacht, all they got left is Wehrmacht. They don't even have any tanks. Oh my god, they don't even have any tanks. The Wehrmacht had such a great opportunity. I have no idea. I'm sort of upset to be watching this replay, actually. To be seeing the Wehrmacht not even manage to take out this whole base here, this MG emplacement and the forward HQ. I mean, there was such a big window of opportunity. Like, how long was that, guys? Was that like 10 minutes or something? Window of opportunity to actually take it out. He had like 2 or 3 stews out. He had multiple squads. He could easily have done it. In fact, he's losing guys now. His game is really just going down. His micro is really just disappearing. I mean, he can't really concentrate what's going on the field. He probably realizes it in his head. Oh no, I had such a good opportunity to actually kill this and finish off this opponent, and now he's actually destroyed all my vehicles, and he's bringing his guys into my base. He's bringing them into my base. Now it seems like so much of a reversal. Oh my god. The Americans are really everywhere on the field now. Forward HQ here. They've got MG nests and MG emplacements, and they've also got their forward HQ here. So really they're okay. They'll be in the fight for much longer time now. And look at this. The Hellcats are over here. This is really going to force the... Oh no, it looks like somebody went down there. It just means that the stormtroopers are going to be forced to retreat back to the base and actually fight these Hellcats. But that doesn't even look like it's going to happen. No clue what happened to the Wehrmacht there. I mean, they had a very big window of opportunity to take out the Americans there. They did such a great job. I highly commend the Wehrmacht for, instead of fighting the main front, they just rushed in 4 stews to annihilate the base. That was literally holding on by seconds, with that Hellcat coming out of Tank Depot by literally a fraction of a second. Also the MG emplacement being built literally another fraction of a second. Very close match for the Americans. Wow, very, very close match. The Americans had such great control in the early game, putting a lot of pressure on with the M8s. Then we saw the reversal of the stew. Then we saw a very lucky gamble roll with the Americans. I actually would consider this the most luckiest game I've ever seen for the Americans. Just absolutely very lucky with the Tank Depot, with staying in the game with the MG emplacement, and then having such a lucky roll with the M18 Hellcats. Very well done. Very, very lucky. Hope you guys enjoyed this cast. And hopefully everything's going to be alright with you guys. Hope you all have a nice day. And yeah, just really, really glad. Very, very relieved, guys. Very relieved that these exams are finally done and I'm moving on to next year. So until next time, guys, have a nice day.